Hey Carlos, how are you doing?
Hello, Sarah. I'm fine. I'm here in Charm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Rest day for the comp.
yeah. Yes, you enjoying it?
Yes, definitely. It's
Mm,
special. Like we have almost only people that I know and are good friends in the competition. And safety team is also like all of them friends of mine. So it's
yeah,
been quite a community experience. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Big free dive family. That's nice. So yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to I wanted to catch up with
I,
you today. It's okay. Hi,
yeah.
Luna. So so yeah, I wanted to catch up with you today because we were in touch on Monday. So the first two competition days were Tuesday and Wednesday. We were in touch on Monday, and I'd heard that you were going there and attempting a national record in no fins, and I was super excited. And I'd heard from people around that your no fins was going really well, and so we got into a conversation. But you said, yeah, your no fins is great, but your equalization was not. And so you were really coming into the competition in this space of physical confidence in your technique and in the depth and your training, but not knowing whether you would be able to rely on your equalization, right?
Exactly, exactly. Like the last diving sessions before the comp were early turns,
Mm.
3 dives in a row, always equalization, and always a similar problem. Although I was already trying different techniques, I was trying mouthfill first, and then I switched to Franzo. In the first moment, Franzo worked, but then it started failing again. And then I came back to mouthfeel and oops, failure again. And I was, oh my God, what's happening? Like trying 57, the target for the competition, I call it the target one, was 56 national record.
Mm.
And my personal target is 60 for this season, not necessarily for this competition. And yeah, but the equalization was blocking me,
Yeah, so
especially the last dives before the comp.
what was going on then? What was the problem that you could see?
Yeah, what I could see was that the soft palate was closing. It was very, like exactly the same problem both for mouthfeel and Franzling. The
Mm.
soft plate was getting stuck at some point and I wasn't managing to open it. And then I had to early turn. Very, very simple, but it's not a very, very common problem. Most people, they are swallowing and like, so it's a little bit of out of the easiest answers that people normally have to equalization problems. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that you'd been troubleshooting this with friends and other people you were training with, and this is one of the really nice things about the freediving community. Is like, guys, this is happening, help, what's going on? So, but you weren't finding any solutions. Like you said, you switched technique, but it wasn't seeming to work.
Exactly. Like I was training with Lily being my coach,
Mm.
and we were like working on this together. And in the first moment, we said, no, let's stick to the mouthfeel. That's what I've been training the whole season, and it's now a matter of getting this round, and it's gonna work. But then when dives like kept failing before the comp, then I said, okay, now we need a short-term solution. Let's try something different, and it still didn't work. And yeah, and then the idea came, okay, let's do a special technical solution like a sequential, which is quite similar to the constant pressure, but then using the tongue to exert the pressure.
Mm.
And yeah, like this, but this I would try for the first time in the competition. So I wasn't still, yeah, so sure about this as a final solution. Like in dry, it worked fine, but you never know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we connected on Monday, which was the day before the competition, and I know exactly how it feels to have three failed dives before a big comp because that's what happened to me before my world records. Like I set up my training dives to be almost exactly per competition standards, and I turned early on every single one. So I know exactly how you felt, and it's really like, my God, I'm really going into this on a back foot, and I don't know what's going to happen. And my experience was, um, I knew that I was physically capable of doing it, but my mind wasn't ready. You know, I mean, there was 3 world records. I'd never attempted a world record. So I was freaking out. But in your case, we started to look at the technical aspect of the mouthfill and the different phases of the mouthfill with the transition zone in the middle. And we ascertained that that didn't really seem to be the problem. And you suspected, what you said was you thought it was depth related.
Yeah,
right?
like pressure triggered. Yeah.
Yeah. But that also didn't really make an awful lot of sense if we really, you know, drill down into the physiology of what's going on in the throat and whatever. And I'd had a sense that it was more related to tension through a lack of really profound trust. And this is what I've seen again and again. So the first thing I focused on was your body position in the water and whether you were really relaxed in your lower belly, which often when we're having equalisation problems up here, we're not thinking about our pelvis and our legs and what's going on down there. But we have so much interconnective tissue that if the legs are too straight and the pelvis is extended, is tilted backwards, that puts pressure on the diaphragm, and that can then put pressure on the glottis and create maybe a little bit of suction, which could possibly have an impact on the soft palate. But then we went even deeper than that in terms of, you know, what could really lie behind this, and we came to that point of trusting your body.
Exactly.
And yeah, go on.
Yeah, like, and then I started talking about like this chain effect that we could maybe have without me noticing, like inside my body with the different parts of it, different tissues affecting each other in a chain effect. Yeah. But then you suggested like what was for me, okay, it makes sense to make this conversation. I had heard from you that you used to do this in your deep dives, like before the dives, talk to your body, to the different organs and parts of the body, and really have a chat with them to see if they are okay to do the dive, if they feel okay, if there is any problem. But I never felt like doing this myself, and then you suggested this, and it made sense for me because I thought, okay, like I never had this conversation. I don't know what's going on, and my body has the knowledge and wisdom. If I just ask, maybe it gives me the answers. Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, just in case anyone's watching this and they don't know about the whole conversation thing, that my warm-ups for my 100+ meter dives were simply me checking in with every part of my body, which is not just the ears and the tongue and the glottis and the lungs and the diaphragm, but it's every single cell, because when you're doing a really deep dive, you are, you're completely anaerobic. And it's for me, it's the ultimate teamwork. And so for me, it was really this integrating the fact that my body listens to my mind, and my mind is, if I'm really in alignment, my mind is guided by my spirit. And if my spirit is in this space of trust and knowing that, you know, I've done the work, you've done the work, you know, I know I can do this. So if the mind can be open to being in this space of trust, because that is coming through from spirit, and then the mind is then communicating that to the body, then the body is no longer in this place of, is it going to work? Am I going to get there? Am I not going to get there? You know, what else do I have to do? And then that sense of really complete relaxation comes through the body, and the body does know what to do. You know, your soft palate, when you came to do the dive, played ball. It didn't block up, and you did the dive, and you have your first national record. Woohoo!
It's the second.
Oh, sorry, you're second. Even better. Yeah. Awesome.
The first one was easy because it was like by things, and then I didn't really train for that. I just went and did the dive, and but then Rafael took it from me less than a month later because it was still very easy. So let's say this is the first real one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a big dive. 56 no fins was my my world record in that discipline, so I know that it asks a lot of you, definitely. So tell me about the experience then. That we had this conversation, and I advised you to have a conversation with your body, with your soft palate, with whatever you thought might be relevant, and to first check in and ask maybe, okay, what is going on? What am I not seeing, or what do I need to do? And then to listen. So do you mind telling me, a little bit more about that conversation?
I am wishing to tell you this in details because it was a quite interesting conversation. Well, I found I was planning to do this conversation / meditation later in the day, but then I went for a short dip in the ocean, and I found a perfect spot on the sand where the waves would touch me every now and then, and there was a shade, so I said, okay, it's now. So I decided to do in that moment, quite spontaneously, and I started doing a introduction, like exercising presence and playing with being there and feeling the ocean. And then at some point I decided, okay, now let's do the specific meditation that I wanted to do, this conversation. And it was actually fun because I discovered that the different parts of my body have very different characters, they are totally different from each other, and they were pointing fingers to each other. For example, I started with the ears because I thought, okay, the ears are, let's say, the most passive in this whole thing, and they just feel the result of the work of talking about equalization. The ears were okay. They were that's fine for us. We are here, and we are listening. Kind of as I would expect, let's say. But yeah, then I went. I started to go through second tubes. They were just fine as well, enjoying the dives, kind of, and happy to be there. And then when I reached the soft palate, she was she was kind of pissed off to be the one who carries okay, I am the one everybody's saying responsible for all these issues which are happening, but if everybody does the job below me, then I will do it. I can't do I can carry everybody. It was not so verbal I'm trying to verbalize now.
Yeah.
But it was a very pissed off part of my body to be blamed for all the problems, and she was carrying all the weight of the whole body, and didn't have the chance to hold everything. So basically, the message was the problem is not me. And it was also funny to the tongue. The tongue was very wise character.
Okay.
I know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm not doing something wrong. I'm just doing what you trained me to do. And this was also, it was so funny to see a few things okay, I always thought I was doing the exercise right, but it was never that clear. My mind had it clear, but in this moment it was clear also for my spirit. Okay, the problem is for sure not in the movements I'm doing at the tongue.
Yeah.
And going down Trachea was happy. I can now, Gael. Sorry. Okay. Just a second.
Yeah, that's okay.
Fique rasgado, tá? Sorry.
Yeah, so Trachea was happy.
Trachea was happy. Trachea kind of said, no, I'm the glottis was also happy. Like glottis kind of said, I know sometimes I'm not holding the pressure, but I'm doing my job in a way which allows us all to go down. Like I was also kind of calm conversation, like more or less saying, okay, I can improve, but I'm not the problem.
Yeah.
And the lungs were absolutely happy to do the dive.
Yeah.
The lungs were, yeah, let's go, we can do it. Just let's go, like kind of
Awesome.
easy. And yeah, the diaphragma was the moment I started to realize, okay, my awareness was never here. Like I didn't ever go down and notice what's going on there. And then I realized that the diaphragma itself had the flexibility as a personality I'm talking about.
Okay.
But it was being put under stress because of the lower tissues. And then I realized that I was carrying tension in the lower belly and even in the abdomen, in the lower abdomen, the more external part was under tension. And this was, I could relate this to the hernia I had last year. Like I could have some things clarified. Just so funny because it was vivid conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the pelvis floor. The pelvic floor was where I was not aware that I had tension. Like it was, I think, where my maybe psychological fears were finding a place to.
Yeah, we hold on.
Exactly. Kind of, okay, if we hold on, then nothing bad is gonna happen. But it was the opposite, actually.
Yes, exactly. The self-sabotage of the fear creates the contraction, creates the result that we don't want.
Yeah. It
Wow,
was
I
really
love
funny because like all different characters.
Yeah.
And it was funny also to see that all of them were really willing to do the dive. Like there were.
Oh, you've cut for a moment.
Hello? Okay, there was an interruption.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, it cut shortly. So you were just saying that you realize that your whole body is really happy and ready to do the dive.
Yes, it was. This was also for me a relief, so to say, because I was afraid. Like after having talked to you, I was kind of afraid. What if some of them says to me that I don't want to do the dive? What do I do? Do I try to convince it? How do I act then? And they said, okay, let's let it flow. And then everybody was, no, let's do the dive. We just have to solve these issues and everything's gonna work.
Yeah.
Kind of a team with a lack of communication. Like we do the transfer to, for example, corporate life.
Yeah.
The team was
no clear leadership.
Really willing to reach the target.
Yeah, but they need clear leadership, and that needs to come from you.
Yeah, the leadership was not.
And it also needs to come from you in a way that is really calm and knowing that this is okay. So it can't come from a mind that is like, right, you know, I'm going to do this, and yeah, maybe I'm not ready. This is what I mean by, you know, if the spirit is open and in trust, and you know, and of course the training needs to have been appropriate to the dive. Like you can't wing it. There are no shortcuts to depth. But if all of, you know, if all of the training is in place and you've done the work, but there is just this small equalization problem going on, often I see 90% of the time it's a mindset issue, and it's a lack of trust and a lack of relaxation, which is conveyed to the body through the mind, because we're not drawing on that higher aspect of ourselves, which knows that everything's okay. And we're just not used to training in that way in the West. We're not used to integrating ourselves in this way. So, you know, so many people
this is the word, integrating.
Like there's a problem, I need to fix it. No, there's no problem. You just need to get in alignment with yourself, and that our overly intellectualized approach of problem solving actually causes the problems a lot of the time in freediving. It's an interesting conundrum for people.
Exactly. Yeah, I could. This I had already recognized before. It was already clear for me that the problem or part of the problem was that I was overthinking my equalization due to a lack of trust. Mm-hmm. So I was like trying to, okay, let's, if you think more and more and more and more, then you're gonna, because I was also a little bit desperate to find what was the root cause of the problem. Mm-hmm. But like in a very intellectual way, like using all the knowledge that in 2 years of freediving instructor, I have already some good level of intellectual knowledge. And I was really digging into this labyrinth. But like what the lack was literally inside of me, the lack of communication with my own body.
Yeah. So tell me quickly then about the actual dive. How did it go? How did it feel?
Well, no, before that, I want to mention like what you wished to me before the dive. You wished to me surrender. And this really made sense. Like I thought, okay, like this is something that is a good wish. And like the dive itself, the preparation was like the warm-ups were nice. I felt really comfortable, ready. I trust a lot the organization here and the safety. So there was nothing running behind like my mind or some bad thoughts. I was very confident. But a few minutes before my dive, Pete had a blackout, and I was really worried with him because I didn't really expect him to have a blackout for that dive. I think himself also not. But anyways, like I was worried with him. And I got a little bit also worried with myself because I started to feel, maybe there's a deep current. Oh, maybe it's gonna catch me. What's happening? I started to freak out a little bit. But then, like in the very moment when the judge team said to me, 3 minutes, which is the moment I like putting my face in the water and start the proper brief up. Then something almost magic happened, that I really switched and I didn't think about anything else than what I was supposed to think about before my dive. Like I started to do a very short visualization of the dive. And like I could feel the effects of my training coming all together, more or less. Okay, I felt really prepared for that and 100% focused. Like it was... then it was a kind of a magical dive because it felt like a dream. Like, okay, I started the dive. I was doing everything according to plan. First charge, okay. Second charge, really good. Like basically like as planned. And I kept going. And in my mind, I was dreaming. Like it was almost like the perfect dive that we all always visualize. And then in a tiny moment, I lost a little bit of focus and I closed the soft palate. And then I heard Sara Campbell say in my head, just surrender. And then like I could really allow my body to work. These different personalities were not listening to the mind anymore. The mind was allowing them to do their job. And then I could equalize once again. And I reached the bottom. So it felt kind of short. I was almost surprised to be there. Oops, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
Good. Now grab the tag and come up. So the dive is done because I never felt like I wouldn't do the way back. Is something that was I never thought it would be a problem. And then coming up was. Like I was already in a nice joy, but still super focused and in a flow state, like that flow state that we hear a lot about sports coaching, and I was in that state. But then I met the safety divers, which are all good friends of mine, and I could feel how happy they were for me. And this brought me a little bit out of the focus. I started to kind of, yeah, I was too happy, so to say. I got out of the flow state and I started to kind of say, yeah, I did it internally. I didn't do stupid movements. I kept doing what I was supposed to do. But like in my mind, I was already, okay, done.
Done it.
And then I managed to come back. I remember, no, there's still a surface protocol to do in a platform. You never did this in your life. So focus now, do the dive, and then you're going to enjoy. And yeah, like I came back and not that I was not enjoying because I was really enjoying the dive, but I going to enjoy the victory. And yeah, like that's what then happened. Like I finished the dive. I could do a surface protocol. Yeah, like expected, so to say. Not perfect, but very good. And yeah, then I had done it. It was, I was so happy that even during the I am okay, you could hear the emotion coming out of myself.
Yeah, I watched your surface video and I was like, yay! He went, and the moment you pulled the tag out of your hood, you know, that for me, that was the victory moment. It was just like, yes, it worked. I was so happy. And you went even deeper yesterday, just as a test dive because there was current. So it the same technique you've now put into practice, and it worked again on a 58-meter dive.
Exactly, but I went down for immersion, so it's much easier to relax in general. But I wanted to focus on the equalization, really to look for problems, even like to check if there was not something hidden. Yeah. And it was a very smooth equalization. I could reach the 58, equalizing until the very end with air in my mouth. Everything as good as it has to be to do the 60 later. And it was funny because like once I decided not to do the dive because of the current, I said, okay, then let's use the opportunity to train the equalization, which I could train only in the record dive. So, and it went very smooth. And it's funny because for me, I have something, I have to work on it in the future. I don't like free immersion. I feel like cheating. I feel like fake dive. And and more it's getting better, but still like I don't feel like a real dive. So it's kind of, in some aspects, it's a harder dive than a no things dive for me. But still this worked very, very well. And that it was also good to prove for myself that it was the right decision not to do the no things because the current. I was just checking the pictures now, the official pictures, and you see my body is at least 45 degrees, although I was quite fast. So this was for sure the right decision not to do the dive. It wouldn't have worked.
Not a no fins day. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really great because you implemented something new. It worked, but you know, to see that it worked a second time, and because it's, I mean, my approach is a little bit sort of, you know, off the beaten track of, you know, how to train free diving, but so it takes a certain amount of trust, you know, between you and me for you to receive, you know, what I was advising you. But the real trust is then between you and your body. And every time that you do a dive and every time that you start to have this conversation, you're really strengthening the bonds of the relationship and building that inner trust. So to have done it now twice and to see that it works is you're really getting, so if we take the analogy of the team, it's like everyone's going, we've got it now, you know, this is the winning combination. Let's really all pull together. And that in itself, for me, feeds a sense of confidence, which nurtures that deep sense of trust, and therefore then the ability to surrender even deeper. Oh, did I lose you? So we lost Carlos, unfortunately. This is the vagaries of Egyptian internet. But yeah, this whole, this approach that I teach of shifting our mindset. So rather than getting stuck too much on technique, I mean, obviously the training is essential. There are no shortcuts around that. But when you find yourself at a blockage, it's often much more effective, rather than thinking that technique is going to be the solution, particularly if you feel like you've tried everything, to make a mind switch. And obviously that's not such an easy, quick, logical thing for most of us to do, but with guidance, with experience, then that gets easier and easier, because what we find actually is that the deeper we go, the softer, the more relaxed we need to become, because the pressure is asking that of the body. And when we work in this way of having an integrated conversation, guided through a place of trust and surrender, where the mind is relaxed and that then translates through to the body, then our confidence grows, and that relationship, those bonds grow stronger, and the process actually just becomes more and more effective and more joyful. So the dives, in a way, start to get easier and easier. So thank you to Carlos. Tomorrow he's going for 58 meters, no fins, and I wish him all the love and surrender and trust and flow. And I look forward to hearing how that goes for him. So thank you all for stopping in and catching up on this. And good luck with your diving. Stay safe, train consistently and conservatively, and start to go into a deep conversation with yourself. As you can see, it can also be a lot of fun. Lots of love. Bye-bye.